Hey everyone, it's Jenika with Jenika's Journals. Winston and I are here to talk about charms today. So if you are interested in charms, just all things charms, then stick around and I'm going to show you how to string them onto the elastic string of your traveler's notebook. And then also I thought I would talk about a little bit about a couple other little fun stationery things that I've come up with lately. I know better than to try and make a short because I can't do anything in a short period of time. So this piece needs this little end to be a little bit more firm. So I'm just gonna just melt those frayed edges. And then I think I'm going to use this opportunity to put a new charm on. I had this one on. And then I think I'm gonna put this one. I have another little bird one that is really, really cute, but I don't know where it's at. And then this one came, I thought this was adorable. However, when you put the string through it, it's going to be upside down. So I will literally have a moon that looks like this or this. I was a little, this or this. I was somewhat disappointed in that. I really don't have a purpose for this, or I haven't come up with one yet. So some of these holes are bigger than others. This is a 2mm elastic. That's what I have. And that's what's on all my covers. So it just slides right in there like that. Some of them are a little more narrow and a little harder to get through. If you encounter that, like this one, well, I would really struggle with this. So I don't want to fumble with this one while I'm recording. Okay. This might be some of the issues that people are having. So this hole is just too small for this 2mm. I'm not entirely sure why she has two separate holes. There's quite a bit of difference between the two. It's probably just the width of this. Well, that's the answer, I guess. This is just a very small, thin piece of wood. This is much thicker. So I guess that's something to consider when purchasing from her. What you could do is get thinner elastic. So even if you got the replacement elastic from Traveler's Company, they have those little packs that have the different colored elastics. I'll show that in just a little bit. That is a 1mm diameter elastic. It's a little too thin for my personal taste, but you could get that, and I'm pretty sure that would fit. I'll go look for some of that here in just a little bit, but okay. So back to the task at hand. So I'm going to thread this through like this because I want the knot in here and this here. So I'm going to have to put these through one at a time. Use something sharp. I have an awl because I'm a leather worker, but you could use even just a pen or a pencil or anything. You have something sharp. Surely you have something sharp in your house. And just kind of poke that down in there like that. And then grab it on the other side. And then tie the knot. Okay. And then my piece is restrung. Okay. That is as simple as that. But I do think that having held this in my hand and in the process of talking through it, that might be some of the trouble that people are having, is this elastic is just not going to be able to go through there. I don't know. Maybe you could if you put like a really thin piece of wire, like some kind of jewelry wire that you could apply. No, I don't think that would work either. No, I don't think so. Anyway, maybe. I don't know what the answer to that is, except for using a smaller elastic. And I'll get to that in a moment. But I did want to just say, I really love the wooden beads because they don't scratch the leather. They're very, very smooth. So Summer Wind Art smooths them all. They're sanded down. Even this one doesn't have kind of the glaze or it's not a glaze. It's I don't know what it is. It's much smoother and shinier than this. This seems like it's just sanded but unfinished. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. It just seems that way. So, and it doesn't scratch. Nothing scratches here. And I think that even if there was like an area, I could rub it out, right? Sand it out because it's wood. But with other charms, I've tried to be really creative because I think charms are adorable. You can take just about anything. This was from Hobby Lobby and really, really cute. I thought, and I just thought if I had a little clasp, I got a jump ring and a little clasp, I could hang this here. And I tried it for a bit, but I will just say almost anything with metal is going to end up gouging the leather. So if you're okay with that, then I say go for it. It kind of bothered me a little bit. I've used the metal charms on multiple different leathers and they all sort of do the same thing, which is totally unfortunate because I think that's really cute. My daughter made this little coffee cup out of clay. And then she also made this little, it says Emma, Jane Austen. It's a little book. Emma happens to be my favorite book. And I could probably get away with this on here. Like so, just hooking it on like that. But I think, see, that metal is going to scratch at my leather, especially when I go putting this in a bag or whatever. So I just sort of stay away from that. She made these with the intention that I use them as charms. And when I'm at art shows or anywhere, I'm always looking for things that I think would make good journal charms. And I've not come up with anything. But I have put her little charms on my Delphonics bag, just like this. Even though the color palette doesn't really matter, I think it's a super fun way to dress up my bag. And so she made this fountain pen for me too. Isn't that adorable? So I'm going to go grab some other supplies. I apologize because I talk really fast in these videos, or at least that's what I hear in my brain is me talking really fast. And in regular life, I don't really talk this fast. I think I'm just trying to use your time as wisely as I can. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, and then here's another charm I had high hopes for. This was wire wrapped, a wire wrapped stone by a very good friend of mine. And she made this for me as well. I had it on the front of my book. Oh, I was so excited for this charm. I think this is the first one I realized, yes, metal is not going to work. I think maybe if I had a traveler's notebook, I could put it up here, maybe with a couple more. I don't know. Enough about that. I went and grabbed this. I did grab this thinner elastic. This is like Traveler's Company, the thinner. And I bought this because I was going to really try and duplicate Traveler's Company Traveler's Notebooks, but I didn't get very far with it, or I haven't anyway. And I have a whole roll of this, as you can see. You don't have to buy that much. You could just buy the refill kit. And before I even tell you to do that, I need to make sure it works. So let's make sure this thinner one, oh yes, works well. So that could solve your problem. It is much thinner elastic, but you know, it still works. I think that's cute. I almost wonder what it would be like if I did them both. You know, like had a multi-strand. I can't use this one. I cannot abide by an upside down moon. I just can't. I don't know. And then even adding another one, not this one, but maybe a smaller one. I like it. I kind of like that look. I don't know. Something I might have to experiment with. Anyway, I digress. So that would work. And I will tell you, if you place an order with me and you want some of this because you have these beads, feel free to ask. I have plenty and I don't have any intention of doing anything with it. So just let me know and I'll include a little bit of that in your order. Okay. Yes, next. I wanted to share the clasp band metal ends. I bought them on Amazon and there is a whole bunch in this bag. I don't know. I want to say 100, but I think there's more than that. Anyway, so they have different sizes, and the different sizes mean like this area right here, I think. It may be the length of it, but I think it's the diameter of what can fit in that little space. So if I were going to decide that I wanted I'll just show you my process of adding a clasp, metal band, whatever it's called. Actually, when I was looking for them, I saw Chic Sparrow had started adding them to their inside of their books, and I thought, well, I should look into that. And I thought, what on earth is that thing even called? And it took me a little bit to figure it out. You know how when you figure something out, you're like, oh yeah, that totally made sense. But when you're in the process of figuring it out, it's frustrating, especially when you don't know the right words to use. So it would be too long if I didn't cut some off because of the knot. So I'm just guessing. I may be guessing wrong, but we'll find out. So this piece, this long piece here goes this way. So it lays in just like that. And then I have some gnarly, whatever these are called. Came from my husband's shop. And I probably need a bigger diameter. When I have to purchase next time, I'm going to be looking for a bigger diameter because these barely fit in here. And you have to sort of manipulate the sides so that they cover the elastic. I sort of do that. And then once I kind of get that gap closed, I have no idea if you can really even see this. I hope you can. Then I squish it down like that. And then I go in and kind of pinch them together again. So I think the Amazon page that I ordered these from showed me how to do that. And I want to say that they were doing the exact same thing I'm doing, which is a lot of fiddling. And then I cut that little excess off, and I actually take my lighter and, okay, and then when I pull, if you pull straight, it will sometimes just go straight through that hole. So you kind of have to guide it, and that's how I do this here. And so then it sits flush, just like that. See? So, and then I can take my book cover, put it back. That is the story. And there is a lot of preference. That's why I just thought it best to give you the option of what it is that you want. So that's that. Thank you for watching.